Hello and welcome to the MM+M podcast. I am executive editor Jack O'Brien, but first and foremost, I am a football fan, a borderline football fanatic, and that's why I'm so happy to bring you this episode featuring Drew Brees, New Orleans Saints legend. If you go that certain way, you can be a San Diego, Los Angeles Chargers legend, Purdue Boilermakers legend, NFL MVP, Super Bowl winning quarterback, and next month will be a Pro Football Hall of Fame inductee. He is here to talk about the awareness campaign that he is working on with ARS Pharmaceuticals to promote Neffy. I hope you enjoy the conversation. It's got a lot of great insights for medical marketers and for football fans in that too, which that's all you could ever want in an episode. So please enjoy this conversation with Drew Brees. How are we doing, Drew? It's nice to meet you.
Yeah, you as well.
I really appreciate you coming on the show. I am a huge football fan, so I'll spare you all the football questions, but obviously want to talk about everything related to Neffy. I know that you've partnered with them on this awareness campaign. Wanted to talk about just how that came to be. I know that you obviously are an allergy patient. What was the inception of this campaign?
Yeah, well, I dealt with severe allergies during my career, and didn't talk about it a lot. But you begin to realize that over 40 million people deal with severe allergies. It's really a public health crisis. And epinephrine is the one treatment for severe allergies, or potentially stopping a life-threatening anaphylaxis. And so I wanted to partner with ARS Pharma, who's the maker of Neffy epinephrine nasal spray, which is a needle-free option when it comes to treatment for a severe allergy attack. And again, it's I think when you think about up to this point, it's just been, the injectables, which I know for especially kids, and even adults, a lot of people don't like needles, and so this becomes a great option for, kids 33 pounds or above. Certainly consult with your doctor to see if Neffy's right for you. Understand more at Neffy.com, understand the side effects. But again, designed to be very simple and easy to use, just comes in a little container that has, two applications, single-use applications in the event of severe allergy attack, which could be caused from food allergies, insect bites, bee stings, other medications. But Neffy epinephrine nasal spray is a great option for those that have severe food allergies or just severe allergies.
Definitely. It's been a game changer in the allergy space. And I wanted to ask you about that. It's like, obviously it's something that we cover, just covering the pharma and biotech industry on a day-to-day basis. Yeah. You obviously, have a lot going on in your life. Were you aware of Neffy before this campaign? I know that you had obviously been diagnosed and gone down the allergy route, but were you aware of it? And what have you learned if not?
No, I mean, I think that's where, the nasal epinephrine spray, option, beyond just the injectable, I think was what was so attractive about this. Again, I was prescribed it, just as a result of the severe allergies that I've had. And, again, I think about my lifestyle and, all that you're kind of doing and, places that you're going. And obviously, you want to be able to bring awareness and education to this, but also preparedness. And you think about what an easy option that becomes for so many people, not just the people that have the severe allergies, but those around them, whether it's your teammates, your classmates, your teachers, whatever it might be, the more awareness we can bring around, the individual, who's dealing with that, I think the more that we have a chance to support them. And certainly when you have, a medication like Neffy epinephrine nasal spray that is designed to, be there in the event of a severe allergy attack. That peace of mind means everything.
What have you learned most of all in terms of going through this, both as an allergy patient, now as a spokesperson for this brand, in terms of like, oh, I wasn't aware of that, or like, this is actually how this impacts your lifestyle?
Yeah, I think it's more so just how many people, deal with this. You kind of, I'm sure a lot of people feel like they're, a bit isolated. I was talking with somebody today and it's like, you got to go sit at the allergy-free table over here. You don't get to hang out with your buddies over here, because, you could have exposure. No, I think it's, I think sometimes you can feel alienated, and I think there's nothing worse than feeling like you're not prepared, But when you have a solution like this, I think it just gives you more confidence, and also makes you more comfortable to talk about it, but also not worry about it. It's a bit more stress-free from the perspective that in the event that, you have a severe allergy attack or, something serious, you have a a solution in Neffy that, you feel is going to, be there to save you.
Definitely. And I want to ask a question too for the marketers in our audience. Like, obviously you've done I can't even count the amount of commercials that you've done that I've watched over the years. And I think about FedEx, I think about Xbox, I think about the famous, Pepsi one with One Direction. I still harken back to that. How does this compare? Obviously it's a different beast. It's different expectations, different audience. How does it compare them working maybe on more consumer retail focused stuff?
It's funny. You're the second person that's brought up the Pepsi One Direction commercial. Yeah, that was a good one. We shot that in New Orleans. I guess it was when the Super Bowl came to town, and One Direction was just starting to blow up. Harry Styles was trying to take my Pepsi. Honestly, I think there's an authenticity to every one of my relationships. Whether it's marketing, brand ambassadorship. It's got. I was a customer before I was an ambassador, somebody who was talking about whatever the product is or the issue. In this case, I think it's a public health issue. You got 40 million people that are dealing with severe allergies, and how can we help provide a product that it has an efficacy that is going to help save them in the event of a severe allergic reaction, but also more of an awareness and education and preparedness for others to be able to recognize that so many people are in that boat. And what an incredible option in Neffy epinephrine nasal spray as opposed to injectables, is a great option for people.
Definitely. And I would be remiss if I didn't ask you a football question. I'm a diehard Patriots fan, and I think about this more often than I care to. Is that season that you won the Super Bowl, you guys played Tom Brady, Monday Night Football in the Superdome. Yeah. Went back and looked at that, 371 passing yards, 5 touchdowns, perfect passer rating. I don't know if you remember anything of that game, but that's one that sits with me where I was like, oh, these guys are for real. I don't know if there's anything that stands out to you on that end.
Well, I remember this. The first play of the game, we threw a go route against, I'm trying to think who the corner was. I just remember I threw it to Devery Henderson. But it was basically like, we're going to set the tone early. We're just going to throw a go ball. And if he's pressed, I'm throwing it. And Devery was one of these guys who, man, he could run, and if he had a step on somebody, you were just kind of dropping a breadbasket over the top. But I think it was a tone setter. It just kind of told everybody. Obviously, it's Monday Night Football, so everybody's watching. But you're playing one of the greatest teams in history, and that just kind of set the tone early. It was like, hey, we're pulling out all the stops. We're taking all the chances, man. We're just going to cut it loose. And, that's what we did that game. I'm not sure. I don't think we punted in that game.
I went back and watched the highlights. I couldn't even believe the Patriots were in the lead at one point in that game because it just got so out of hand, so much.
Yeah, I think they scored first, right? Did they go up 7-0? Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't meant to be. You guys were obviously the better team, not only in that game, but that season. Drew, I really appreciate you coming on for this interview and stuff. Is there any parting lesson that you want to impart to our audience about Neffy and the work you're doing there?
I think we covered it all, but I think, Neffy epinephrine nasal spray, an incredible option when it comes to being prepared, in the event of an allergic reaction and potentially life-threatening anaphylaxis. And even if you're not somebody who has those allergies, recognizing that there are others that are, and we're here to support them.
Excellent. Drew, really appreciate it. Congrats again on being inducted in the Hall of Fame next month. Really well deserved.
Thank you.
Awesome. Take care.
All right. Have a good one.